Yo, 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 yo,
What's
yo,
good?
yo. What's up? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Been busy, man. Not me. The NBA, the NFL, the sports world has been busy. Been a lot of happenings going on. You know what I'm saying? Man, I'd say the world's been busy, man. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened since the last time we were sitting in front of this camera, Mark.
Yeah, man.
Some crashes happened. You know, some a lot more executive orders taking place. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
I don't know.
officially getting old. Apparently,
Yeah,
like
that
dog,
shit's
I
sticking
got an
out crazy.
actual get gray streak in my beard. Like,
Yeah, that's sticking out hard, hard body. Yeah.
yeah, like you can see it. Like that's crazy. Mm, that's wild. All right, man. What up? Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing? We got a nice jam-packed episode for you guys. We're going to be talking about a few things. We're going to be talking about obviously, um, we're obviously going to be talking about the upcoming Super Bowl game, and the biggest night in NFL every single year. And we're going to obviously be talking about all the trade requests that is going on within the NFL and the NBA, and the movement and ahead of the trade deadline. It's getting hectic out there, man, and it's getting crazy. Um, NBA and NFL seem to both be fighting for um, top dog on the headlines this week, and because each one is bringing out their haymakers on the next headline, man. But we're going to go ahead and start. And Sean, I think I don't know, man. Where do you guys want us to start? It seems like it's five of you guys in here already. So that's what's up. How you guys doing tonight? Feel free to link, like, subscribe. Send out the link, like it, and if you don't already subscribe, please do so. And also, um, say what's up to us. Don't feel free to chat because we are engaging. So come on, man, hit us up. Start telling us what you want us to talk about tonight. You know what I mean? Let us know. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but anyway,
But
we're gonna go ahead and get into it, man. Um, I should we just address the elephant in the room?
um,
Um, or
yeah,
maybe,
let's do that. Let's get straight into it. Yeah.
all right. You know what I mean? All right. So on the ticker tape right here, the first thing that I see, it says Roger Goodell dismisses the idea that referees favor the Chiefs when working their games. Um, Sean, I'm just going to ask you off top, man. How do you feel about that?
About, I mean, which part of it? Part of it, Roger Goodell's statements, or
Yeah, his statement
okay.
on a dismissal, like him dismissing the idea and
I,
basically dismissing it as poppycock.
I find it coincident. I find it too coincidental, man. Okay, I see you, John. Yeah, if you got something to say, say it. But I'm about to continue on the point we're talking about. Um, I find it way too coincidental, Mark, that not only is Roger Goodell came out and said something, but the Chiefs owner came out and said something too. So y'all both said something on the same day.
Well,
You know
they
what I'm
were.
saying?
Well, it wasn't like they just free willingly said something. They
No,
were.
no, I know, I know that it's like, but of course, you as the owner, you're gonna say he specifically said it had it had nothing to do, or it was like he said something like it was less about the refs and more about us being a great organization or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Some nonsense, right?
What does that have to do with the calls? Like, Okay.
to do with the what?
No, go ahead. Continue.
Oh no, yeah, this was. I'm just saying. He's saying like them being in the Super Bowl. Like the owner spoke about it and saying like it ain't the refs, right? And then you got Roger Goodell saying something. Um, I refuse to believe that the media just popped up and surprised them with that question. I believe that they knew it was coming. I believe that they knew, they said we're going to allow you to ask these questions, and yeah, we're going to speak on it, and you had time to prep. I mean, I guess you don't need much time to prep just to say it's all poppycock. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm,
I mean, but in general, I think he had to say something, right, Mark? He had to say something, and he'd rather say it at a time to where he can control the narrative, and also during a time when there's so much other things going on, media week. You know what I'm saying? For a week leading up to the Super Bowl, he can say it now, and it could get buried, and he can get away with saying, "Ah, it's just nonsense." He could have said something last year. He could have said something during this season, Mark. He didn't say nothing. Nothing was said. Now you pick the busiest media week to say something. It's not a fucking coincidence. Is what I'll tell you. Excuse my language, but I know you have a take on it, and I'm gonna let you speak on that. But in general, I just think that this entire thing of him speaking on it and giving the Chiefs owner an opportunity to speak on it is all orchestrated.
okay, that's fair. Well, listen, man. Here,
Oh, real quick, sorry, let me answer John real quick. You said the Gideon video, bro. You know that I will go through like a McDonald's drive-through, and somebody be like, "Are you, are you Gideon? Are you Gideon?" Bro, I'm about tired of the Gideon comparisons, bro. That's like one of the ones that I just don't like. Maybe I don't see it. I can see it a little bit, but nah, man. That's crazy. That's crazy that your wife has known me since 2006, and she saw a Gideon video and she thought it was me. This is getting out of hand. Sorry, I just have to address that. This is getting on my nerves, Mark. Go ahead.
all right. All right. So listen. Um, when it comes to when it comes to Roger Goodell and the refs, or just when it comes to the NFL addressing the referee situation, um, I have a personally, I just have a problem with them saying like dismissing it the way that they are, but that where they just like whatever, it's poppycock, it's bull crap, whatever, man, we're moving on. Like how dare you entertain this stuff? Like stop. Let's not do this. Let's not talk this way as if Tim Donaghy doesn't exist, as if Spygate isn't a real thing. Like these are things that have been proven to be real. Tim Donaghy was a real person and he did not work alone. The NBA wants to pretend as if he did, but he said himself, I didn't work alone and I was David Stern's hitman. Like let's not pretend that things aren't orchestrated a certain way. Let's not pretend that Shaq has come out and said that David Stern asked him, where do you want to go? Where do you want to be at? When you get drafted or whatever, blah 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 blah. And he was like, "Oh, I'll make Orlando happen." And or like in more or less words, he said, "I'll make Orlando happen." And next thing you know, Shaq is actually in Orlando. Shaq said that in an actual interview.
Yeah, he did.
Like
he
Shaq,
did. Where you want to go? Yeah.
yeah, Shaq told the story in the actual interview about how his quote unquote draft lottery was orchestrated. And also we also like I said, we know about Spygate. We know about Josh McDaniels cheating. We know about all these different things that actually happened. So when you go and dismiss the idea of referees favoring a game for a particular team like the Chiefs, and don't address it with any sort of sincerity, as if it's not possible, that is a smack in the folks with common sense face. Like they're seeing what's being called and they see the phantom calls and things of that nature. And if you were to be the type of person like to address it with any love, like at least gaslight me a little bit, you know what I'm saying? At least shine me on a little bit, like, you know what I mean, whisper sweet nothings in my ear a little bit, like tell me like, hey man, I understand what you perceive to be this way, but that's not what's actually happening. Like if you were to say something like that and be like, but I understand how you see it, but that's not what actually happening. What's actually happening, if you was to finagle stats to look a certain way, like do that at least, but don't just flat out dismiss me as if it's not possible. It's like, come on, man. History says that cheating is possible. Not only is cheating possible, but it happens.
Yeah.
So when y'all, so like, do like, I want to see, I would like for it to see better, and we all know what it is at this point, man. Like,
Yeah. The over the top lies about how much you know is really a dead giveaway. To
right,
your point, it's like when they be like, "Hey man, when was the last time you seen in the movies and the TV shows? When was the last time you seen such and such? Man, who is that? I don't even know who that is." Then they pull up like text messages, be like, "Oh, did like you? It's funny you were just messaging them 2 days ago. Oh yeah, like you could have just went with a lie that just said, "Hey man, I ain't seen them. I ain't seen them since Wednesday."
all
No, you're
right,
gonna go way too far with it.
right. It's
But
funny, Sean. You reminded me of a story,
yeah.
and this is a story that happened in my real life. Um, and so in my time in the military, right?
Hmm.
And you know the computer people, the people that
Yeah,
um
yeah.
worked
Calm.
on
Yeah,
the
calm folks.
computers
Yeah.
and stuff that be in your building. They not in your AFSC or whatever, but they in your building or whatever like that. I
Oh yeah,
forget.
you talking about? Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, like those people. One dude worked in my building. His name was Ern. But good friend of mine. But
Hmm.
anyway, this girl that I knew, I'm gonna leave her name out.
Hmm.
But this girl that I knew and I used to hang out was real cool with
Okay.
started messing with started messing with her. Found out one day that she worked the same job as Ern, and found out that Ern was also messing with her. But like we found out as separate, like, oh, you know her? Yeah, I know her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I know her. Like, oh, okay. Like I know her too. And so leave it alone because she don't belong to either one of us. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and we kind of offer that. Like, I'm not trying to wife her. He ain't trying to like. So we leave it alone. And then one day, while he's gone, like I think to my, and she's about to leave soon. I think to myself to ask, like, yo, and like we hanging out, we going to the movies or doing something, and I think to myself to ask, like, hey man, what, like I just was like, hey, what job do you do again? And she's like, I do such and such. I was like, oh yeah, okay. I was like, my friend does that job. I was like, maybe you know him. I was like, maybe you know him. You know what I mean? His name is Ernest. She's like, I don't know him. I don't know no dude named Ernest. I was like, for real? I was like, really? I was like, cause I know it's not a lot of y'all or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, it's not a lot of y'all, and it's a black dude named Ernest. I was like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you kind
Like,
of remember that. You will remember
I
a
was like,
black
you
dude
would
named
remember
Ernest.
a person named Ernest that's black. You know what I mean? He light skinned. You know what I mean? You remember a dude named Ernest that's black. You know? She's like, nah, I don't know. I was like, oh, okay. but it's that type of thing where you like, dog, I got you. I caught you, but you
Yeah,
gonna die
yeah.
with this lie.
The lie is so outrageous. The lie is so you're trying to have me believe something so outrageous There's only like five of y'all, but you don't know him, and it's a black dude named Ernest. Get out of here. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So Roger Goodell, you know what I'm saying? You what? The refs cheating? Get out of here. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. So literally live on air when they bring up last year in the AFC Championship game, and they're talking about how the Chiefs haven't had a holding call in 3 seasons in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they literally say that on air, live on television, with everybody watching, now all of a sudden, what? People think that the refs are cheating for them? No, that's impossible. Like, nah, man. They literally were talking about it in the playoff game versus during the playoff game, after the playoff game against the Texans. Like, so now all of a sudden you don't know what's going on. You don't know anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Exactly. Like, oh,
crazy.
you don't
That's
know?
crazy.
Okay.
Nothing, huh?
You don't.
Yeah. You know you fucked up, right?
You know what I'm saying? Nah, right?
Yeah. Hey,
Like,
look, man. I'm just saying, like it's obvious and it's obvious now. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Now you just blatantly lying to our faces, like so you know what's up. But the problem is this: we don't care if you know.
Right.
If you're saying that you're looking into it, and then it's like, okay, well maybe you know or you suspect the same way we suspect, and you just need to. I'm not going to answer any questions on that because right now we're looking into it. Oh man, you would have had me, Mark. You would have had me. They'd be like, oh man, he's not complicit. Oh, he looking into it. Man, he could have told us that. Waited a whole year, nothing come from it. Like, we didn't find nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let me be mad a year from now. At least you faked me out for a little bit. But you don't know anything? Okay. Yeah,
Uh,
all right.
so, yeah, man. But it's that type of stuff that's just interesting, man. And but with that being said, man, how likely do you think the three-peat is to happen, man? The dreaded three-peat.
I'm start and maybe this is the optimist in me, man. I think the optimist in me says the NFL already got what they wanted. They have the Chiefs in the Super Bowl with a possibility of three-peating, and that's enough for them. You know, the optimist in me says that they won't force the issue of the three-peat. But the realist in me, Mark, says it's a very big possibility for them to get the three-peat because do you know how much off-season um, news feeds this is going to generate? We're going to listen to all of the major sports coverage networks talk about whether or not this is the greatest dynasty. They're going to be talking about whether or not Pat Mahomes. It's like they're trying to have their MJ versus LeBron moment here, and if they do it right, they can have it for the rest of Patrick Mahomes' career. You know what I'm saying? Even after LeBron retires, they're still going to be arguing LeBron or Jordan. Whether
Right.
people think it's fair or not, it don't matter. That's what the NBA is sitting on right now, and they always say like there's always going to be somebody talking about it. And I feel like this is a moment to where the NFL can have something like that. Okay, they didn't have an MJ because of the parity. Because of Tom Brady, they have an MJ. Now they get to create a LeBron. Not that Pat Mahomes needs the help, but they can create the conversation because, like, let's be honest, Brady won too many times. It's just a situation where, like think about it. People don't argue about whether it's Brady or Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers didn't win enough. Brady won too many times. It makes it impossible to have that conversation. But with the three-peat, come on, man. I don't know. It's just too many positives in it for the NFL to me to believe that there's not a chance for the Chiefs to get the three-peat. I honestly think there's a big chance, but most of the chance that I see that exist, it exists in a couple of manners. It exists because of the refs, and it exists because of the coaching staff for the Chiefs. Now you combine the refs with the greatest coaching staff in the NFL right now, with arguably the greatest, well, greatest quarterback for me, the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? With one of the best defenses in the NFL, you combine all those things. Yeah, I could see a three-peat happening for sure. I would put, if I had to put a percentage on it, Mark, because of the refs, I would say there's a 60% chance.
Yeah. Well, as you can see in the bottom ticker here,
Yeah.
um, it'll come up here soon, but it says Riley Chiefs have an have an agreement to use the three-peat um uh trademark logo. I didn't know Pat Riley had that trademarked. That he had three-peat trademarked. That's that's interesting. Um,
That is interesting.
but yeah. So, but yeah, man. As far as I'm concerned, though, I I mean, obviously the three-peat is a possibility, but I'm not looking for it to be a possibility. I'm looking for the Eagles to come
Of
out
course
on
not.
top of this game. Obviously. Um, I think I like. Let's just face it. Rob already said it in a comment earlier. He said if the Patriots can't go undefeated, then then the Chiefs can't have a three-peat. And 100%, the Patriots were supposed to be the first undefeated team with the current with the current schedule and everything like that. But it didn't work out because Giants came and played spoiler. You and I were talking earlier about how, and I mentioned to you, I remembered that in that Giants year, that 2007 year, um, the Giants, like on that playoff run, they weren't not the 2007 year, the what was that, the 2011, the second one.
The the second one, that was, yeah, 2011. That
Yeah.
was 2011 Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, on this in the second run, they didn't want the Giants there at all. I remember, like I said, I was talking to you earlier. I remember that Giants Packers game where it felt like there was a lot of calls that were going the Packers' way that shouldn't have been, and somehow the Giants fought through that and won. And then they fought through the super team that was the Patriots and won. So with that, you know what I mean? Like the Giants was one of those teams that like, nah, that wasn't supposed to happen. Just like the Detroit Pistons wasn't supposed to beat the Lakers. But they came in and absolutely dominated the Lakers, and that wasn't supposed to happen either.
Yeah, yeah, just I agree with you there. There's a few times in history where it's just like you could see what the league wanted, and seemingly it felt safe, right?
Right,
Like, let's be honest, if they are massaging situations, right? That Patriots Giants second Super Bowl was a situation they're like, there ain't no need, there ain't no
right,
need for it to massage anything. So they're not thinking throughout the course of the game. Like, if you watch that game, like that's one of those games where there wasn't those crazy favorable calls for the Patriots. Matter of fact, that whole season, what you didn't see that season with the favorable calls to the Patriots. They didn't need it, right? So that also left the door open for the Giants to kind of take advantage of that. I'm sure, looking back, they wish they would have massaged that situation a little bit. But honestly, man, like I feel you. That wasn't supposed to happen. It wasn't supposed to happen at all. You know what I'm saying? Ask Vegas.
yeah,
Ask Vegas if it was supposed to happen.
right.
You know. So
And I feel like this is one of those situations where it ain't supposed to happen, but it probably will happen. Is where like the Eagles ain't necessarily supposed to happen, but feel as though it will happen because the Eagles like what we represent as far as the way that we move the ball down the field and stuff like that is it's tough to get a read on that. It's tough to stop that when it's truly just a dominant offensive line and an excellent runner with field vision. Like What are you going to do with that? And then
Mhm.
when you have on the outside, the Eagles just have one of the best rosters available. Like I still don't necessarily believe in Vic Fangio's defense, but I do believe in the individual players. Like Vic Fangio's defense, it wasn't going to work in 2022 as well when you have James Bradbury back there and you have the linebackers that you do. Like you know what I mean? Like they're trying, but they're not them. And you have Fletcher Cox who is aging out. You know what I mean? Like you have guys that can still play, but they're aging out. Now you have basically that whole entire defense is young outside of Slay. Like
Yeah.
Slay might be the oldest person on a starting defense, and then you have absolute shutdown corners at this point. You have C.J. Gardner Johnson who's playing like a monster, laying hits and like
Yeah.
just playing all over the place, and then Jalen Carter who's a penalty who's getting penalized every 2 plays. Like every 2 plays, somebody's holding him or doing something that deserves a flag against him.
Yeah.
And like so when you have those combinations, I think the Eagles can come out on top. And I don't think it's necessarily has to come down to an X's and O thing. I think when it comes down to the X's and O's of it all, I think the Chiefs ha- has it. I think Spags is a better coach than Kellen Moore is an offensive coordinator, and I think
Hmm.
and I damn sure think Andy Reid is a much better uh, coach and offensive coordinator than Vic Fangio is a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the X's and O's of it all, I think the Chiefs have it. But when it comes to the individual players, oh, absolutely not. Like DeAndre Hopkins is pretty much not. He's pretty much just taking up a roster spot on this Chiefs team. Like he's a threat that's not being utilized. and and so so the Eagles don't have to worry about him too much. But outside of that, you know what I mean, we've seen the we've seen the people that Keon Mitchell has locked down and put in Guantanamo Bay. I'm asking you, Sean, does a single receiver on the Chiefs team
No, I don't even need you to finish
threaten
the
him?
question. Like, I don't need you to. I don't even need you to finish the question. No, like right now, Mark. There, to me, what if I had to pick a receiver and say which receiver is the best slash most complete receiver on their team right now? And mind you, I can't count Kelsey because he's a tight end. That automatically leads me down the path of Juju Smith Schuster. That can't be your best receiver. That can't be your Swiss Army knife when it comes to route running, right? It just can't. Juju Smith Schuster can't be your best receiver if you plan on going up against these guys. 'Cause, like I just don't think like I like Hollywood, but he there's areas that he lacks in it. So it's like no, they don't got nobody. They don't got nobody receiver wise. You know what I'm
And
saying?
also, but maybe that'll help them in the long run because there's no one particular person that you could say, all right, lock this person down, like, and we'll deal with the rest because they don't have any one particular person. But also, when it comes to the Eagle side, you know what I mean? Um, we got Cooper DeJean, we got Keon, we got Slay, we got Isaiah Rogers, we got Keely Ringo. Like I honestly,
Yeah,
when it comes to that secondary, it's kind of crazy. Um,
yeah.
like
See, real quick, Rob saying Worthy and Brown use their speed to get open. The way that the Fangio defense works is we give you everything up front. We not letting you have we playing back. You as fast as you are, you're not going to be able to do that. And do you know how long a quarterback has to wait in the pocket for that to happen on that defense? You're
Hmm.
not going to have that time because of the front line of the Eagles. Like, that's why it works. Like you said, we talked about the individual talent. Just want to be clear on that. Worthy and Brown use their speed to get open, yes, but the down the field shit ain't going to work. You're going to have to get everything underneath. We know what type of game this is going to be. Like, forget all that. You talk about handsy with it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what route they run. If they have Dijon on them, if they have Mitchell on them, they're just not. They're never going to be open.
Right.
Okay, they're. I like Worthy. I think when you talk about route trees, he might be the second best receiver on the team. But he's still not. He don't have a complete route tree. He still doesn't know the nuances and the ins and outs of playing wide receiver in the NFL right now. From the film that I've seen on him, Andy Reid does a phenomenal job of scheming these guys open by by motioning, lining them up in certain positions to get them matched up on safeties or linebackers. Like, these are things that Andy Reid is absolutely going to do. Like, the only thing that like Andy Reid is going to try to get these guys. I can't even say on the safeties. Just like, you guys got guys that could cover. Like, he's going to try to get. He's going to stress these linebackers in coverage. Is what he's going to do. Okay, so all the stuff you talking about means nothing because those outside corners, I don't care which one you're talking about. I don't care if you're talking about Slay. I don't care if you're talking about Dejan. I don't care if you're talking about Mitchell. Those wide receivers with the scheme, with the defensive scheme, with the talent that they have on the Eagles, they're not going to be open other than over the middle and underneath. It's very simple. So
Yeah.
yeah, like CJ is somebody who I think covers well for somebody who's a in the box kind of safety. He covers very well. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to try to match up." I'm trying to get the matchup of Hollywood Brown on CJ. Like, it better be a streak. I don't know what you're going to do. Like, I just feel like he can cover Hollywood. I feel like he can cover Juju. Am I
Right.
crazy here, Mark, or am I
No, not at all.
like
Not at
I
all,
don't?
man. But that,
And D Hop just doesn't seem to be. He's
yeah,
he's not the same guy. So
yeah. At least on this team, he's not. Like, I don't
doesn't
know
look
if
like
he
it.
actually still has it or not. I just know that on this team, he's he's more or less a deterrent. Like, he's a look over here. We're doing stuff over here,
Yeah, the
like
only
type of dude.
mismatch on the field is Kelsey.
Yeah.
That's it. So yeah.
But yeah,
Uh,
but when it comes to offensively though, Eagles, like, Spags is gonna do everything he can.
yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of disguise in there that's going to try to stress the Eagles out and try to make you think something is happening that's not. It's going to it's going to require the Eagles to remain disciplined the way that they have all season. Like, I don't like, if you don't have immediate success in the run game in this game, I don't think the Eagles should move away from it. I feel as though this is the type of game that if you have to die by by the style of play that you've been playing as, die that way. Like,
You
like
have to. You have to, Mark. You have to, man. You can't play. That's exactly what the Chiefs want you to do. They want you to stop running the ball. They want you to try to get. They want you to attempt to get creative offensively, more creative than you've been asked to be during the course of the season. They want you to do things in this game that you haven't done all season. That's exactly what you're more likely to have some failures in execution if they can get you to do that. You cannot, like you said, you got to die on. You got to be willing to die on that hill, essentially.
Yeah, you have to die that way. That like this time you can't like be like, oh, we're gonna get cute with Jalen Hurts now. Don't pull a Seahawks, don't
Mm-mm.
pull don't pull a Ravens, don't do none of that shit. Ugh. Like with Saquon Barkley back there and the way that you play, you got to die on that. And I'm not saying run every down, obviously, you know what I
No,
mean. But I'm saying
go
like, no,
for it.
nah, man. I would love to see Saquon 24 carries in this game.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to see that. But um, but I think the Eagles do have a path to win. I think the offensive line is better than the Chiefs' defensive line. But I don't think this type is the type of game that comes down to my offensive line is better than your defensive line. I think
they're
this.
better, but not. There's not a big enough gap for
I
you to do
like.
that.
I think that. I don't think this game
Yeah,
comes down to that because Spag's
absolutely.
scheme makes up for whatever deficiency the defensive line has versus the Eagles' offensive line.
Yeah,
So, uh,
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's going to be interesting.
You know what? In general, this is one thing that I think people haven't been talking about that I just thought of just now. Like, forget everything else, man. I know there's people out there that's like, I don't want to see neither one of these teams win, right? I get that, right? My gripes with some of the Super Bowls have been this isn't going to be entertaining. When the entire Chiefs offensive line was destroyed, when they had to go up against the Bucks, kind of went into it knowing it might not be an entertaining Super Bowl. It might be over early, right? We kind of suspected that. I don't like those types of Super Bowls. You know what I mean? Shoot, let's go back to just even last year's Super Bowl with the Niners and Chiefs. It was just there wasn't a whole lot of action in that game. Okay, was it a close game? Yes. Did it go to overtime? Yes. It wasn't a particularly entertaining game. This game right here, though, Mark, I think this is going to be one of the more entertaining Super Bowls that we've seen in a while. Like, I just think this is just going to be a great game to watch. So I'm kind of excited about that. You know what I mean? So I feel like people aren't really talking about that, but I do feel like that this is a good matchup for entertainment purposes. Like, I know people might be thinking, oh man, if you look at on an individual basis, Chiefs play a boring style of football. Eagles play a boring style of football. Yes, on the surface, because they're good enough to get away with their style of football because of them just being better than their opponents. You're talking about a 15-1 team or a 15-2 team in the Chiefs. You talking about the Eagles. This is going to be a game where they're both going to be tested. They're both going to get pushed a little bit out of their comfort zone. There's going to be a lot of scheming going on offensively, defensively. I just feel like you're going to see a lot of stuff. Yes, very a good matchups. Like I said, the matchups that I'm watching for is talent versus coaching,
Yeah,
and that's really the matchup we're talking about. The talent on defense for the Eagles versus the coaching of Andy Reid. The talent, the talent on offense for the Eagles versus the coaching from Spags on defense. Like, the talent versus coaching situation is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. You're gonna see some exotic stuff definitely from the Chiefs.
no, 100%. And I'm looking forward to how the Eagles respond. I'm looking forward to how
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts responds. Um, and it's unfortunate because um, the last time these two teams met, the game came down to a fumble of like the ball like bouncing off like the ball bouncing off your own knee and
Mhm.
and the other team running it back. Like
Yeah.
they didn't even force the fumble. Like it was an unforced error that
Mhm.
that gave up a touchdown.
Yeah.
And that is essentially the difference in the only way that they won.
Yeah.
And And even before that, the play before that was a false start that put you in a position to where you now had to pass, where you were going to run the ball prior to that. Like, so it changed everything.
Mhm.
And so I think the Eagles, they were the better team in 2022, but they lost. And I do think they're the better team this time. And hopefully this time they will win.
Mhm.
So, but anyway, man, um, what up? Is there anything else you guys want us to talk about? And when it comes to this particular, when it comes to the Super Bowl matchup, or any other things that you've seen out of the Super Bowl, um, I guess the hoopla surrounding the Super Bowl this week.
Yeah.
Sean, is there anything else? I think Jameis Winston is a riot.
Man, I love James. I can't. I'm as this is gonna sound crazy. I can't wait for him to retire, Mark. I can't wait. I can't wait till we because like let's be honest, like we we both been advocates for Jameis Winston for a while now. Going back to his Tampa Bay Buccaneers days. Um, we I like Jameis. I think he's insane, man, but in a good way. You know what I mean? Everything like I'm never gonna like the day I hard body became a Jameis Winston fan was draft night, and they asked him what he was going to do. He said he going for crab legs. This is like 2 weeks after he just got in trouble for the crab leg situation. I'm saying 2 weeks. It wasn't that close, but it was close enough. Like it just felt like it just happened. He said I'm going to get crab legs. Okay, like I was a fan since then, but we won't get more of Jameis Winston until he retires. So that's why I say that. Like, I can't wait for him to retire because I selfishly want to see more of him and hear more of him speaking and just him being himself. And I want to see it in, somebody is going to look at him as a personality, and whether people like it or not, thanks to um, people like Shannon Sharp and Pat McAfee, the media world now sees how that can translate. And now I think more than ever, somebody like Jameis Winston has the opportunity to the second he retires, somebody's going to be trying to put him in front of a microphone and a camera. And I can't wait for that day to happen. Did you hear him talking about the story where he got hit in the head with a crab leg?
Yeah, and in Philly. Yeah,
Hey, he was legitimately more upset that he didn't understand how they were able to smuggle in king crab legs into the stadium.
yeah,
Like almost as if he was like, "Yo, I could have been smuggling crab legs in here the whole time." Like he did not care anything about him getting smacked upside the head with a crab leg, dog. Like Jameis Winston telling stories is
yeah.
amazing.
Jameis Winston he's a special type of dude, man.
Yeah.
But speaking of a special type of dude, Miles Garrett has asked for his walking papers, man. One of the stories that came out this week is Miles Garrett said, "Hey, all this individual accolades is cute and all, but I'm not here for that. I want to win championships, and I want to compete for championships. So I would like to go to somewhere where I can, because the state of the Cleveland Browns is clear that that's not going to happen in the near future. So, and a lot of things are in flux with the Cleveland Browns. So he asked for his walking papers.
Yeah.
So obviously, we all know how we feel about that, which is like good for him. But I guess where do you think is his most likely destination, as they say?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. Um I don't think the Browns care who they trade him to. It's not like it's a situation where, oh no, we're not going to give him to a competitor. You're the Browns, okay?
Right. You don't
You're
compete
not
against
competing
anyone.
for anything. There are no competitors when you're not competing, right? So, like, I
Right.
don't think that matters, right? So let's get that out of the way. Now we're talking about who can afford to pay him. But I honestly believe that he does want his money, but I think he's willing to take a little off the top if he has a better opportunity to win a Super Bowl. I think he's looking across at somebody who, the comparisons are there with between have been there between him and Aaron Donald. Hey, look, that man got a ring. I don't got a
Mhm.
ring. You know what I'm saying? Um, but either way, so I would say this: it has to be a team that can afford him. And right now, there's a lot of teams out there that most of the teams that are in a spot to compete, they don't have the cap space. So honestly, I could see him ending up somewhere like Buffalo,
Mhm.
and then outside of that, I could see him ending up somewhere like maybe the Vikings. Okay. But either way, it has to be a team that is somewhere in that hunt. Maybe they're not at the top exactly, but a team with money that has the cap space that can afford to pay him, and they can and they're somewhere close enough to on their way that he can feel comfortable going there. And those are the only two teams out of the top teams that I can uh, see them being able to afford him to take him on. So I didn't really think too much about this, Mark, but that's off the top of my head.
Okay, that's fair.
Bills seem like the likely spot though.
For me, um, I'm gonna go ahead and say, like, this is no joke. This is honest to God, no joke. I'm gonna go ahead and say the Philadelphia Eagles,
Hmm.
and
Explain that. Hmm.
for for obvious reasons, Eagles will be competing for years. They like offensively, they don't have any big contracts on the horizon because they locked everybody up. Saquon is for another 2 years. Their offensive line is essentially already locked up. Their two major receivers are locked in. They both have fresh new contracts. Jalen Hurts is locked in. Like, so offensively, you don't have any contracts on the horizon, but you have money. Defensively, you have rookies in place. So you don't really have contracts coming up on that side because you're about to let Darius Slay walk. You have CJ Gardner Johnson locked in place. You have Sidney Brown for the safety position. And your corners, your brand new corners, have proven, hey, you can let the other guys go because hey, we got it. We got it. And the defensive line, like I said, you got young guys in Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, um, um, and what's his Milton and Nolan Smith. So you good there to where you could take on a um a Miles Garrett contract for the next 2 years at the very least. And as far as Miles Garrett himself goes, this is an ideal type of situation. You get to play on a defensive line where you're not the sole dog on that defensive line. You are you will obviously be top dog because you're Miles Garrett, but Jalen Carter is there. Again, Jordan Davis is there. Nolan Smith is there. Like Nolan Smith is obviously on the weaker side of that, but the fact is nobody can key in on you because they have to deal with the whole defensive line. So that's an ideal spot for Miles Garrett because you still have the opportunity to get your accolades because nobody can just key in on Miles Garrett because they have to worry about the rest of the defensive line. And you have all the players in place to be able to make a run at the championship.
Okay.
And when it comes to figuring out the money, Howie Roseman is the very best at figuring out the money.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you that. That's a really good explanation. My question to you would be, what would the Eagles be giving up?
Uh, shit. If they gave up their first for this year and their first for next year, or yeah, like
But you
was
think basically it's gonna be just picks?
uh, uh, they could give up their first for next year, the first for this year, the first for next year, and Bryce Huff, or their first for this year at Bryce Huff and the second or whatever. But you get what I'm saying. Like
No, I see. No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Bryce Huff isn't working out here, but Bryce Huff may work out elsewhere. 2 years ago, he was good for the Jets. You know what I'm saying? And Cleveland Browns need to be thinking rebuild. So like them taking on Bryce Huff isn't like they're looking for somebody that's going to get them the win now, because that's not something that they should be looking for. They should be looking for, hey, let's rebuild this thing.
Okay. Here's one little small thing that maybe it bursts your bubble, maybe it doesn't, Mark. But everything that you said makes perfect sense, which is why there's a chance that the Cleveland Browns might not do it. Like, it makes way too much sense, dog. The wild card is the incompetence of the Cleveland Browns organization. Like, it just dawned on me too. I was like, wait a minute, that makes way too much sense for the Cleveland Browns to actually do the right thing, you know. But I'm like, after you kind of explained it, and I just so you know, I looked it up while you were talking. The Eagles are going into next year with projected 24 million.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Miles Garrett. I don't know when his contract is going to be up, but even let's just say his contract was going to expire next year. Um, he would probably be wanting something close to right now going rate for pass rushers is getting close to 40 mil. Um, that 15 mil gap is something that could be closed and worked out on the, like you said, how we can figure those numbers out. That's not too crazy of a gap or a go between to say we can't figure this out. So I agree with you, man. I agree with you that that would be the ideal situation, and it's plausible. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize you guys had money. So
Yeah.
that's why I didn't mention you guys. But yeah, no, that sounds good. Like I said, we just hope that Cleveland Browns make the right decision.
Yeah. That's what it come down to.
I don't know what else to tell you, Mark, but that's kind of a big player. It's a big factor,
No,
you
you
know.
got me there, man. You got me there.
And real quick, I want to address this because Robbie's saying some wild stuff sometimes. Rob, you be blowing me sometimes, man. Uh, Denver, he said he want to win, bro. He said he want to win, and he kind of looking for closer to now than later. You know what I'm saying? And I like the Broncos, and I like what they've done this year, and I like their potential. I don't think he's looking to go to a potential situation. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, and then Rob mentions the 49ers have 46.5 million in cap space. Bro, we still got to sign Brock Purdy. What are we talking about? That's Brock's money.
Right.
That's Brock's money. Okay? We we don't have to sign him this year, right? We can wait until the end after next season going into the we can wait. Yes, we can. Right? But I don't like the one thing that we have done is try to be somewhat fiscally responsible while being fiscally irresponsible at the same time. We sign guys to deals and then ask everybody to restructure 2 years into their deal. We do these weird things. But I can tell you right now, like, I think across the board, people don't realize the reason why these quarterbacks get signed to their extensions a full with a full 2 seasons left on the rookie contract is because the price of the brick goes up crazy on QBs. So we have to sign Brock now. Okay, it's the best time to sign him. He's off of a down year, whether it's his fault or not, it don't matter. He's coming off of a down year. Everybody, you do not want to wait and see what happens this year when everybody comes back healthy. We got Robert Saleh back in the building. You don't want to do that, okay? You don't want to do that. We missed the playoffs this year. He's getting signed. That's what I'll tell you is Brock Purdy is getting signed now, okay? So we don't have that money. You say we have 46.5. We don't have nothing, okay? Matter of fact, they're trying to find ways of how we don't even know how we're gonna re-sign Dre Greenlaw right now. And I'm telling you right now, um, Robert Sala, as much as he would like to see Miles Garrett on our team, he understands the we go from being like a top 10, top 5 run stopping team to being a bottom 5 team against the run whenever Dre Greenlaw is not there. It's and then even when he came back for that half a game that he played, it was very visible. So he wants Dre Greenlaw. It's like the only thing that Robert Sala has really been adamant about since he came back is he's been saying he wants Greenlaw on the team for next season. So we still got to figure out how to pay Greenlaw and Brock Purdy with that money. We broke, okay?
Yeah, see, and this is what I was talking about right here. See, like if the Eagles are able to move on from Bryce Huff,
Yeah,
moving on from Bryce Huff frees up about 17 million for us, and that would only leave a gap of 3 million for for the next 2 years
yeah,
within his contract, which we could easily make up. So
yeah,
so ideally, this is what we want to do because more than likely Josh Sweat is out the door, and then Brandon Graham should retire. And if he doesn't retire, the Eagles should just flat on be like, look, man, that your options are retire or we move on from you because we have other needs that we need to do.
yeah,
So, um, but and that's not to say that we don't appreciate everything that Brandon Graham does and has done, but at a certain point, all right, business needs to step in. Um, but Miles Garrett isn't the only person out there. Um,
hmm
unlike Miles Garrett, this guy was put on the block. Miles Garrett put himself on the block. This guy was put on the block by his team. A triple crown winner in the name of Cooper Cup. Cooper Cup is on the block, man. He's out there. Um,
they fielding offers, man.
yeah, they
Put
filled an
the
offer.
bids in early.
And who do you think is the team that's going to jump and be like, yo, give me Cooper?
I think every team's gonna jump, but
The
honestly,
Eagles aren't.
it, but you know what I mean. Eagles don't have room for him in the wide receiver room. It'd be a waste. Shit, I thought y'all had room for Jahan, but y'all kind of didn't. But I'm looking. Okay, he said Pats were looking at Sweat, and then now he's saying New England. Rob, Cooper Cup ain't going to New England. Okay, stop it right there, buddy. I gotta shut you down. I gotta shut you down. Cardinals, look, man. Cardinals sounds good, but I don't think the Rams are trading to the Cardinals to make them better in that way. But this okay, fine. Let me get into it real quick. Chiefs number one. I think I think I think Cooper Cup will play for a discount if he could go to the Chiefs. Um,
I the only way I really see the Chiefs being a possibility is if the Chiefs lose the Super Bowl. If they win the Super Bowl, it's not happening.
if they win the Super Bowl, I think it still happens. If they win the Super Bowl, I think Travis Kelsey retires. I think I I think there's a few things that happen after a three-peat. Your
Well,
vets,
I'm gonna tell you
yeah.
now, Travis isn't even remotely contemplating retirement. So they would have to force him out the door. Like
No, I
he's
don't
been
think he's thinking about it, but I think winning a three-peat changes things.
no, he's been directly asked about it, and and he's been very adamant. It's not the Ben Roethlisberger answer or the answer of anybody else. He's been
For
very
sure.
adamant that he has years left on the tires, and
Yeah.
in playing in these playoff games, he really wants to still be there.
Yeah, no, I get that. I just think people's minds change after certain accomplishments are made. No, I understand what you're saying though. You're saying, look, he said for the love of the game, and I can still compete. I want to play.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it's not like he said that at the beginning of the season. He said that within this week. So with
Yeah.
that with the three-peat on the horizon, retirement is not in his view.
Yeah. Look. I'm still just not gonna take him at his word for right now.
I
Uh,
would. But
Holler at me when you win the 3P. But real quick. But in general, in that, yes, if because I said that because I think Kelsey would retire. If Kelsey don't retire, then the Cooper Cup thing probably ain't gonna happen. Um, to be honest with you, this might the most likely spot to me, ruling out the Chiefs, has to be the Bills. It's the only to me. It just makes sense after what they just experienced. You know what I mean? People were waiting to see what he was going to do without Stephon Diggs, and what you saw was a whole lot of running of the ball. You saw a whole lot of running the ball with Josh Allen. But I personally think that they will look at this and say maybe we do need a receiver, and maybe Shakir and Keon Coleman aren't quite ready yet.
well,
You know what
Shakir
I'm saying?
is, but Keon is not.
Well, yes, Keon is lower than Shakir. He's less consistent, um, and I feel like he wasn't getting open as much as I thought he should. But what I'm saying is having a guy, and then let's be honest, Cooper Cup right now is somebody that you can get at. He's not getting top three wide receiver money, so you can like I
He's
just look
still
at it and say,
requiring at least 20.
yeah, 20, yeah, 20. But the Bills have that. The Bills have money. So you gotta look and say, look, man, we tired of losing to the Chiefs. We're tired of
That's not going to stop.
that. Might not stop, Mark, but that's
Josh Allen
fine.
is still Josh Allen, so
But
that ain't going.
I just look at this and they say, look, we tried it this way. You talking about an organization, a coaching staff that I don't believe ever wanted to play this way, and they did it and it worked until they got to play against the Chiefs, and like I just don't I can see them being reluctant to come into next year with the same game plan. I feel like they want to go back to Josh Allen airing it out. That's like my biggest reason why I'm saying I think they want to go back to that.
Mm.
So, but in order for them to do that, they need the wide receivers. They got to go get somebody, and if the person that's available right now is Cooper Cup, then so be it.
Well, I'm gonna address this very quickly. Rob says since he would Chase. Rob, that since he can't manage T. Higgins and Jamar Chase,
Yeah, yeah, that's
they
it. Yeah.
can't figure out how to pay. They can't figure out how to pay both of them and it's T. Higgins. You think they're going to figure out how to manage two triple crown winners at the same time? Because I would like to point out that Cooper Cup, former triple crown winner, Jamar Chase, current triple crown winner. Like they can't figure that out. And no, he would not be cheaper than T. Higgins. Are you crazy? He's a triple crown winner, and you
Well,
think
look,
that he's going to be cheaper than T. Higgins, who has never sniffed his numbers?
this is what I'll tell you. Somebody like Cooper Cup, who's a wide receiver, very QB dependent, right? You as a wide receiver, you never know if you're going to win the Super Bowl or not. You could be the greatest wide receiver on the planet Earth, and that does not help your chances of winning a Super Bowl. A wide receiver, in my mind, is only ever willing to take a discount if they get to play on a team with a quarterback and a coaching staff that gives them a chance to get in the ring. Yes, he has a ring. I know. but I just look at it like it, that makes it even more so that he's either going to want his money. He's injury prone. Once again, more so makes it to where he wants his money. Okay, and then you're talking about going to a Bengals team that can't figure out how to get back into the playoffs or can't figure out a way of not looking like an average team at the end of the season when it comes to the record. He's not going. I don't think he wants to go to that dysfunction. And even if he does end up there, he's gonna ask. He's gonna charge you for that. You sending me to a team with no offensive line. You sending me
Honestly,
to a
to
team
be
with no
to be
defense.
to be completely honest, my best fit for him is the Commanders. Um, he's going to a team where he won't be the sole target because they have Scary Terry. He's going to a team a with a
Quarterback.
quarterback that basically has a solid foundation and understands exactly what to do with the ball.
Oh, he'll find him. He'll
Right.
he'll give him the ball. Like he'll yeah.
So, and commanders have money. Commanders have money. They are in their
They have
upward
plenty of money.
in their upward projecting. Best place for him is the Commanders, in my opinion.
Yeah. Speaking about the Commanders, that's also a spot that Miles Garrett could go.
Need, I mean,
He could.
he could, but I don't think that changes. As far as Miles Garrett is concerned, I don't think that excites Miles Garrett.
It might excite him a little bit. I understand what you're saying though. Like forget the teams, the defensive line playing alongside of the defensive line in Philly versus the playing along the defensive line alongside the defensive line in Washington. I get it. I understand what you're saying. But yes, but I still think it's a team of interest that was probably on his list. Um, the
Now,
way he was finding Ertz, imagine Cup. You don't want to imagine that if you're a Philly fan. To be honest, but yeah, nah, but yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, getting a receiver for being that receiver for Jaden Daniels, you're gonna get the targets.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Well,
so and
but
they can pay you. That's
yeah,
great. Great answers, Mark.
and another guy, last guy that said, "Hey, man, I want to be out of here," but he kind of fell to the wayside, and people kind of forgot that he even said it. But he said his time in Miami is done. Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill has had enough of the Tua experience. He's had enough of the Mike McDaniel roller coaster,
Hmm.
and he wants off. He said, "Yeah, man, I'm done here. Uh, this this is the end of the road, and all those other cliches." So the difference between those other two guys is Tyreek Hill just arbitrarily came out with that. Doesn't mean that the Dolphins are going to acquiesce.
Oblige him. They're not
Yeah,
gonna. Yeah.
they're not going to acquiesce and oblige him necessarily. He just came out randomly said that. Now Miles Garrett, on the other hand, makes more sense to ask for that request because they're not in Cleveland isn't in a competing situation whatsoever. Whereas the Dolphins feel as though, hey, if Tua didn't get hurt, like they probably shouldn't feel this way, but they do. Like if Tua didn't get hurt, we would still be in competing. Like you know what I mean? We would be in this. And like so they still feel as though they are in a competitive situation. So they would be less likely to be willing to give up a player of Tyreek Hill's caliber when he is still under contract and you feel as though you're still in a position to be able to compete.
Yeah.
So, but Tyreek has asked. I just don't see it as being something that's going to happen.
Yeah, I can tell you why I don't think it's gonna happen. Here's the situation, man. Um, Tyreek Hill is one of the first big moves that they made to usher in the new era in Miami. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, Mike McDaniel just found out that he was, the head coach, that he was going to be the head coach, and then like 2 weeks later, they went out and they signed Tyreek Hill. Okay, it's part of everything that they're trying to build right now, and whether people see it that way or not, me personally, I feel like they looked at Tyreek Hill as the corner piece and not really so much Tua. Tua's, I would say, 60% Tyreek Hill, 40% Tua for being the corner piece of what they're trying to do. Okay. They said, we will pay you whatever money you want, Tyreek. And that's what they did. You don't do that unless you truly believe that that person is somebody that is going to be a cornerstone for what you're trying to build. Right. So the team don't want to trade him away. Very simple. The team does not want to trade him away. Mike McDaniel absolutely does not want to trade him away. We know those two things are true. Okay. Then you have the situation of then you have the situation of Tua just got back. You know what I'm saying? He just finally played a full season. This is not the time where you say I'm going to take weapons away from you. Okay, I just don't see it being a thing. I can see them entertaining it and going through the motions, and we're going to let you talk to these guys, and they're going to do all this shit to make it look like they're okay. You will entertain this. You want to trade? Okay, we'll entertain. They're going to do all those things to make it look good, and then they're going to say we didn't get any offers that we liked. Very simple, man. And to be honest with you, this is not a situation where we saying that there's not a situation that I see to where Tyreek takes a discount. He's not a discount guy. Okay, he's not
Right.
saying if I can get a chance to play for a championship. Oh no, he said I want to. You giving me my money, and I also want to play for a championship. I want both. Okay, so yeah, they're gonna. Rob just said they're gonna gaslight Tyreek. They're already doing it. Yes, they're gonna gaslight him. Okay, Tyreek, you don't get to ask out of your contract. In my last point as to why I think it won't happen, Mark, he hasn't been disruptive enough. You got to be TO level disruptive. You know what I'm saying? You got to not play hard. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that they're just gonna like, man, this man's showing up to work. He's playing. Let's be honest. The reason why his numbers was down, I don't think it was on him, right? So he's
Right.
doing everything he's supposed to. Like, hell no. Why are we gonna trade you? You got to be disruptive, and Tyreek hasn't been disruptive enough. He hasn't caused enough issues within the organization for them to say, look, we absolutely. You seen what Antonio Brown did to the Raiders.
Hmm.
That man said, I got an opportunity to play with the Patriots. Tom Brady asking for me. Let me try to freeze my foot off. Let me talk about my helmet being incorrect. Like you gotta be disruptive, bro. Like and right now, not to say that I don't think Tyreek has it in him. He just hasn't done it yet. Like the team is gonna look at you and say, you have to prove to me that this is gonna be an issue. If not, you on the team. So yeah, Tyreek got to pull a Jimmy Butler. Yeah, he got to. And so if he want out, that's what he got to do.
Well, thank
He
you
hasn't
because
made
that
no
is the
threats, not
perfect
in the camp or nothing. He ain't threatened nothing.
that is the perfect segue to our next topic here, which is like we said, the NBA is trying to steal headlines this week, and with their trade rumors, and one such trade rumor is Jimmy Butler. Well, it's not really a rumor, but Jimmy Butler wants out of the Heat, and the Heat are looking for trade partners and everything. And one of the rumors of places where he could possibly end up was the Golden State Warriors. But there is a report that's out that says Jimmy Butler has informed the Golden State Warriors that he is absolutely not willing to sign a extension with the Golden State Warriors. So that pretty much puts the kibosh on that. At least that's what is being reported. That all right, well, if that's what you're talking, then we're done here. And I find honestly, I'm I'm largely on Jimmy Butler's side in this
I
situation.
am.
Like I'm largely on Jimmy Butler's side. But then things like this, if true, I'm like, dog, like why do you want to shoot yourself in the foot?
It- I think I know where you're going, and this is how I explain it for myself: is I am 1,000% on the side of Jimmy Butler. Nine times, like 100% out of the time, you go back, people speak out, and then you find out, yeah, Jimmy was right. Jimmy don't wild out for no reason, right?
Right.
Um, Jimmy want to win, and if you're doing everything you're supposed to do as an organization, then he's good, right? He's not. I haven't seen him do anything that said me, 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 me. He's willing to minimize himself to win. I believe so. It just from his history. So, but the problem I'm seeing with this scenario is Jimmy. I'm with you. But the way you're going about it, I don't have a problem with it. I just don't think you're going to be successful. You
Right.
might not have the amount of juice that you think you got. And that's the problem I have with what he's doing because I'm rooting for him and I want him to, get what he wants and go somewhere. But it's like you're now starting to step on your own toes.
Exactly.
In the first suspension, it was okay. The indefinite suspension is not okay. Okay, and here's the issue with that, Mark. I saw a post that said, "Hey man, Jimmy, is Jimmy going to?" It says something like, "Jimmy, chill out. You're gonna find they're gonna Stephon Marbury you."
Hmm.
I don't know which NBA. It's a current NBA player that like tweeted that or said it, and it's like they're gonna Stephon Marbury you. I think Melo, not a current player. Melo said it apparently on the podcast. And yeah, I 1,000% believe if he keeps pushing the way that he is, that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to label you as okay, this time you're just gone too far, you're a little off your rocker, you're crazy, you're impossible to work with. And I think the way it was spelled out was like, hey, they're going to tell you, hey man, you're gone, right? We're not going to play you. You're sitting for the rest of the season, and we'll see what we can do to we'll see what kind of deals we can make to get you up out of here. And that's what they did to Marbury, and then they just cut him, and then he just was never no team called him after that. Okay? Right now, Jimmy, you got to understand, you push it too far, and it's not just you're pissing off the Miami Heat or Pat Riley. It turns into owners and organizations making calls to others and saying, hey, man, don't touch this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I fear for Jimmy Butler. So I'm with you, Mark. I'm a little bit concerned. He might need to dial it back just a little bit and let shit play out.
Hey,
Because Pat Riley, if there's anybody that's petty when it comes to this type of thing, Pat Riley is king petty. You don't want to play this game with Pat.
yeah.
You said Marbury didn't have a 5.5, $55 million player option. That I understand. I understand what you're saying. Do you think Pat Riley is petty enough? That's my question to you, Troy. Because I think he is. He's shown that he is. Okay? I don't there's nothing else to say about that. Like I think Pat is willing to somewhat shoot himself in the foot to prove a point. Pat has never let a player dictate, and he goes all the way out of his way to ensure that it never happens.
Right. Yeah. And so yeah, it's getting kind of crazy.
Yeah.
it's getting kind of crazy on that side, and I think that Jimmy needs to kind of chill out a little bit.
Yeah.
But somebody that should have taken a beat before they made any moves is one Nico Harrison. Nico Harrison should have took a breath, should have phoned a friend, should have used all his lifelines before he went ahead and completed that call. Um, Hell, he should have told Danny Ainge, like who was the third party in the trade, what was actually going on, and Danny Ainge would have said, "Dummy, stop." But
Hey, look, King Fleecem, Danny Ainge would have shut the whole operation down.
exactly. But it
Yeah.
is crazy. They used Danny Ainge. All he knew was what he was getting, and he didn't find out that the other part of the trade until after it was too late. But
Mhm.
he should have just shut it all down and said no. And Nico Harrison pulls off this trade of sending Luca to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis and a pack of bubblegum. Um,
Yeah.
and essentially it is a pack of bubblegum because the first round pick they receive isn't for next year. It's not until 2029.
2029. Yeah. 2029 first round and Max Christie.
Yeah.
Like, I
So
mean, we know AD was part of that trade, but like,
AD
like
is 35.
is he 30? No, he's not 35. I think he's like 32. He's still old. He's still, for an injury prone player, he's old, right? Can we agree? He's old for an injury prone player. You
Oh
don't know
shit,
if you're
he's
going to
31.
31. Okay, I was off
31.
by you. But he's old for an injury prone player. He's somebody that you can't rely on to be there for a full season. He's gonna get hurt. He's gonna have low management. There's a lot of things that come with Anthony Davis. And then you're getting Max Christie. Max Christie is a great prospect, not a great enough prospect for you to be waiting on the 2029 pick. Okay? Not a great enough prospect for you to be waiting on a 2029 pick. Right now, I don't care what gripes you have about Luca. I have a lot of them about his effort, his physical fitness, and him refusing to play defense. Right? He won't even pretend like he's playing defense.
Right.
With all those gripes, Luca's probably still a top 5 player in the league. Okay, uh, he might be. Well, you know, some people say, you know, he's the coldest white boy outside of, it's just him and Bird. Like, it. Some people, Dallas Mavericks fans will bring up Dirk, but but this is the conversation we're talking about of how good he is, even with all of his faults. You don't trade that guy for Anthony Davis and Max Christie. You know what I'm saying? In a pick that is so far in the future that you can't benefit from it.
Not at
So
all.
it's an insane trade. Pack of bubble gum, a little bit of pocket lint, maybe a paperclip was in there, Mark. Yeah, and then once again, it just looks like the rich get richer, Mark.
Well,
Okay, and it just so conveniently happens to be exactly what the NBA wants.
right. And here and it's funny because it's funny that you bring that up because a lot of people have been talking about the fact that like why was this trade made, and like there's a lot of theories that are out there. One such theory is that the Mav one theory is that the Mavericks are trying to force the the Dallas um the Dallas political community, the Dallas government, I guess, to allow a stadium to allow gambling and a stadium and casino to be built
Mm,
for the Dallas Mavericks, and they're and the way that they're going about it and talking about it is by saying that that 'cause Dallas would threatening to leave the Mavericks. The Mavericks are threatening to leave Dallas
Atlas.
to
Okay, got it. Yeah.
go to Las Vegas.
Hmm.
and that still feels very convoluted to me because it's like if you're going to threaten to leave, you threaten to leave anyway, and they're saying that essentially the city of Dallas is would more than likely call their bluff if the Mavericks was a competing team for championships, which I don't really see as that being a real issue. You're a competing
Yeah,
team for championships. You
that's
can
a
you can still move.
yeah. Well, that's a reach, but
Yeah.
also the other part of it being a reach is this: NBA expansion has been talked about at length. Okay, so obviously Vegas was a place where they were talking about the expansion. The two top places are Vegas and Seattle. If you move a team to Vegas, all it does is swap out Vegas for Dallas. It like
Right.
they're just gonna get a team anyway. So and yes, there might be a couple of years in between, but they will still eventually get the team. So like I think that's a reach definitely. There's a lot of weird explanations out there. What else? What else is out there, Mark?
Um, let me see. Another one that was out there. I don't know why it's escaping me now, but let's see.
I can bring one up.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's in this. You should know this one. They're talking about a CBA battle. They said the old CBA
Yeah.
versus the new CBA. They're trying to save the owners. Are this is a way for the owners to kind of protest.
Yeah, or like they're getting rid. They're trying to get. Uh, they don't want guys that are under contract under an old CBA with with new CBA rules, and,
Yeah,
so they're trying to prevent that from being an issue, and they're saying that next level thinking of the fact that Luca's playing overweight and that he's with the injury history and things of that nature and all that stuff.
yeah. Like they're saying it's a level of leaning forward. He was up for a super max, like at the end of this year, and essentially in them trading him away, he's not available to get the super max. You would say, well, how the hell does that benefit
Benefiting the Mavericks.
the Mavericks? So the Mavericks are just doing charity and trying to benefit the rest of the league. So now the Lakers get to pay him, and it's not a super max. Like it doesn't. That part doesn't make sense.
Right. That part doesn't make sense neither. And the part of it, like the fact that you you did this with one team. You didn't get anything in return. Like, so if you want to talk about them trying not to pay him, you still didn't get much in return. You didn't like if you had put it out there to every team, you would have gotten a haul.
Yeah,
But you
yeah.
did a secret backdoor meeting deal with one team and got pennies.
Yeah, and I want to bring that up. As of right now, I know some people feel like, oh, it should work with Kyrie and AD and all that shit. I just don't feel like they got the better end of the deal. Dallas, I don't feel like they did because this is the way I look at it. The Lakers, who knows? Let's say LeBron decides he's going to play for a long time. Mark, let's say LeBron plays for 3 more seasons. Guess what? Luca's still going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have already found their next superstar for the next 15 years, possibly, depending on how Luca takes care of himself. Luca's 25 years old, Mark. Like the Lakers, at this point, it doesn't for the Lakers organization, it doesn't matter the level of success that the team has this season. They have their future right now. Okay, so they got something. What did Dallas get? Maybe a chance to compete, kind of, in the next year or two. Like and I don't even think so. I feel like they had a better chance with Luca than the current setup of the team they got right now. Um, but like I said, so they didn't really get anything out of this. So another theory is Dallas was tired. They were fed up with Luca. Okay, they were fed up with him being out of shape. They're fed up with his efforts in the playoffs when it comes to playing defense. They were looking at him and saying, we don't want to give him a super max because now that we're looking at it, we don't think he's worth it, right? And then they're saying basically to spite Luca, we're going to trade him before the supermax situation comes up or before they have to pay him that money. Once again, it when it comes to something like that, it would have to be more than just that. Luca would have had to sleep with somebody's wife. He would have had like you don't. But even then, how are you punishing them by sending them to the Lakers? Yeah, you're screwing them out of money. Yes, you send them to the Lakers, bro. Like if it was really we kind of are detesting Luca thing, and it's supposed to be a negative mark on Luca's career, you would do something differently. You would have actually maybe you would have sent him to the Wizards. You know what I'm saying? But you wouldn't have sent him to the Lakers for what you got, right? Um, yeah. So you know what, Mark? Me and you came up with a better theory. You know, the
Yeah.
theory of incompetency. Okay, it's weird how everybody's going and beating around the bush and coming up all these crazy ideas of how it happened and why it happened and what's going on. And it's like everybody's just skipping over the possibility that maybe the GM's an idiot. It's not the first time we've seen a GM be an idiot, Mark. It's not.
Our
You know?
ownership, our ownership getting involved in situations that they shouldn't. We've seen
Yes.
it. We've seen it just last year with Steve Ballmer ruining the Clippers team by bringing in James Harden. He brought in James
Hmm.
Harden and ruined the potential chemistry of the team that could have been Paul George, Kawhi, and Russ. But but now you threw in the fourth superstar, a ball dominant superstar, and now we see where that is now. Paul George is elsewhere. Kawhi Leonard is absolutely hurt. Russ is elsewhere, and now you're holding the bag with James Harden, and the Clippers are nowhere to be found when it comes to actually competing for a effing championship. These are the situation. Like, so it could be a situation of that as well, where the owners orchestrated this thing, and the the GM is left holding the bag, being the scapegoat for the owners wanting to pretend like they know basketball.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And this is some, like you said, this is something that's happened before, you know, more than once, right? And then now you have like remember we found out years later why James Harden didn't stay with the Thunder. Ownership straight up said we ain't paying the extra little bit of money.
Right,
It's over $2 million. Yeah, it is over $2 million. So what? It's $2 million. That's my $2 million. I make that decision. Okay. Now James Harden is playing with the Rockets, and now you guys, went from being a potential dynasty. Granted, they didn't win anything yet, but they were basically going to be competing for a championship every year at that point, if you would ask me. So, nah, man, they step in, they ruin things. The coach gets blamed, GM gets blamed, and then years later you find out, oh man, it was the ownership. GM didn't make that decision. GM didn't say we're not paying you. GM's not the one that said you wasn't worth it. It was
right.
the owner. So, but yes, it's just weird that everybody goes outside of see what seemingly like the lowest common denominator. You got ownership and you got the GM.
Right.
That's usually who deals with these matters. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people could just not be making smart moves.
And
Um,
or I mean, here's the tinfoil hat theory where ratings is down, the ratings for the NBA are down, and the NBA is going to Old Faithful by propping up the Lakers yet again, and to drive ratings, and so they send Luca to the Lakers to prop up the Lakers to help drive ratings. That could
yeah,
be. I mean, that's a tinfoil hat theory, but like I said, I discussed it earlier how David Stern wasn't afraid of this. David Stern orchestrated moves on players where they were allowed to go and didn't go all the
Yeah,
time.
Cleveland don't magically get the number one pick the year that LeBron's coming out. You think that was
Right.
an accident? Think that's coincidence? Like that,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Carmelo
Like,
Anthony has stories about how David Stern has threatened and told him how this orchestra actually works. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Shaq has talked about it. So, and just
yeah.
because it's Adam Silver now, I don't think anything has changed.
That's I personally think he started to dig into that David Stern bag a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But real quick, I want to address some of the things that Rob brought up. He said he heard he caused Nike to lose out on Steph from what I've been hearing. Yeah, the Nike situation. We're talking about Nico Harrison, the GM for the Dallas Mavericks. Once upon a time, he was working for Nike, and he was in charge of doing the sales, the pitches to the players that they wanted to sign. And when it came time to try to sign Steph in 2013, he basically reskinned a pitch that they gave the pitch that they gave to KD. He called him Seth when he came in the room. They had his name misspelled. They had Stefan misspelled on the slideshow or the video, and they say the shit crashed and burned so bad. Steph was like, "I'm out." Okay, didn't want Steph. You guys know the story. Steph ends up signing with Under Armour. Okay, um, he seems to be incompetent. He could just be incompetent at everything he's doing. I don't know, but that can't be a good story. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that, but Rob said he also feels bad for Jason Kidd. He looked mad in the presser. Yeah, I feel bad for Jason Kidd for a lot of reasons, man. It seems to be at every single turn that he goes to in the NBA, he gets screwed over by a GM or he gets screwed over by ownership. So
Yeah.
this is definitely a situation like this is insane. Jason Kidd, all he's ever wanted was a point guard that he could help groom into becoming the point guard of the future or for the team. He works with Jalen Brunson. Brunson gets they don't re-sign Brunson. They fumbled the Brunson bag. They have Luca still, and now Luca gets traded. You know what I'm saying? Like what? Like now, when the if the Mavs don't work out, guess who they're gonna blame? They're gonna blame Jason Kidd. The NBA apparently around the I would say what they say the fraternity, the NBA fraternity. When you talk about coaches and GMs and stuff like that, they don't really fuck with Jason Kidd, man.
Yeah.
Jason Kidd is very dangerously close to being Mark Jackson. Okay, so yeah, I do feel bad for Jason Kidd. I don't think he deserved this. And yes, he was mad at the press. I'm not gonna hold you, man. He probably could have choked. Like if the cameras was off, he probably could have choked him. You know what I'm saying? He probably could have choked the GM if the cameras was off. And if you know anything about Jason Kidd's temper, it's something that he would
Yeah.
do. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, no, it's yeah, yeah. They Dallas people need to understand. Mark Mark Cuban sold off majority of his shares, and so he doesn't have control, right? He sold off a majority of his shares in 2020. If you're wondering why the Dallas Mavericks team and certain weird things have been happening since then, it's been on the decline. It's because Mark Cuban has nothing to do with this. Okay.
Yeah. 100%. Oh, shoot. 100%. Wish it was some fries at that presser.
Look, man, all I can tell you is this: it like Jason Kidd. I want to. I actually just want to hear a story. Five years from now, I just want to hear the story about what actually happened once they left the press conference because I would love to know Jason Kidd's reaction, his real reaction.
Yeah.
He said they say Jerry Jones made that deal. That's funny.
But
Hey,
um
you don't want no Cowboys comparisons. You don't want no Jerry Jones comparisons right now, man.
but yeah, other trade rumors that are out there right now though is Kevin Durant uh possibly being traded away from Phoenix.
Yeah,
De'Aaron Fox, he did actually get traded to the Spurs, and I think that's an excellent move for the Spurs.
yeah.
And
I love what the Spurs are doing right now, man.
yeah, I think
They're
Coach.
not waiting. They're not waiting, bro. This is Wemby's halfway through his second season, and they're like, we've been making moves since he got here.
Well, I think they also need. They can't wait because their window for Pop is closing
That's
fast.
Pop is old.
Yeah,
Pop is old, man, and I feel like this. Yeah, this is his swan song here. And it, once he wins a chip with Wemby, um, right? Because that's the plan. Once he wins a chip with Wemby, it don't matter how old Wemby is at that point. I think he retires. You know what I'm saying? I think he says, "I did it. I'm gonna pass it on the reins to somebody else, and you guys got it here from here." But yeah, he ain't sticking around for more than one chip. But
and
I
the
think
unfortunate thing is Pop doesn't have a true successor.
he doesn't. He was supposed to have one in Becky Hammond, but she went to the WNBA, and she felt like that was an opportunity that she couldn't pass up because it
Yeah,
was her being able to get that head coaching position right away. So
and he was supposed to have one in what's his name?
Steve Kerr,
Not Steve Kerr, the other dude Brown,
um,
the dude that coached the Sixers and then went back to him.
yeah, I can't. I know who you're talking about. Mike Brown? No, not Mike Brown. Why did I say Mike Brown?
Mm,
I know who you're talking about though.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, no, he's had a few guys that were anybody that was good on his coaching staff that was a possible successor. They all went on very early to be head coaches elsewhere. Like Coach Budenholzer, like he left years ago and went to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So Coach Bud left. Like this, all of his understudies left early and went on to get head coaching jobs and are still around the league being pretty good head coaches, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
think
like,
his one
yeah,
true successor currently are the
Bruce Brown,
yeah,
thank you. But go ahead.
but the one true successor that currently that well Bruce Brown didn't, but um it might be Tim Duncan.
That's if he decides he wants to be a head coach, man. Uh, he's somebody that I would trust. Like, but it's just a matter of whether he's not. I know, right? Just in case you guys don't know, Tim Duncan, after he retired, he was fully retired. He wasn't around the. He was kind of like he would pop in every once in a while, but he wasn't around the team. He wasn't an ambassador or anything. He just retired. But as of recently, he has been reunited with the team, and he's part of the coaching staff, and they have him there helping to work out Wemby and teach Wemby. So like he is actively working for the team as of right now. So that's where Mark is saying that it's a possibility.
Yeah. So I don't know, man, but we'll see where it goes from here. We'll see where I mean, the next couple days is going to be huge for the NBA. Until the trade deadline actually hits. I mean, one thing that was been being floated around out there is that LeBron goes to the Warriors or some nonsense like that. Like maybe he wants to have one last hurrah and all this other stuff. And people are. I find that to be ridiculous, and I find that to be an absolutely nonsense notion because people are forgetting the fact that LeBron James orchestrated his son to the Lakers. Like
We ain't leaving them there,
he's
Mark.
not leaving his son at the Lakers after orchestrating them there. Like he has chips already, so like it's not like that's not going to happen, bro. Like
Yeah,
he's going like just think about the common sense of it. Think about the common sense of a father that made all these moves and did all these things to put their son in a situation of creating a father son moment and all this other stuff. And
yeah,
you think he's now going to all of a sudden be like, all right, peace. I'm gonna leave you to the wolves, son. Not
Yeah,
there has been nothing in Bronny's life that where he had to stand on his own to accomplish something because his father has always orchestrated the things that he wanted for his son.
yeah.
You
Well,
think that now's the time he's going when his son is struggling the most he's ever struggled? You think now's the time he's going to abandon his son to uh to the wolves? You think
yeah.
he's just going to leave him out there in the cold?
Once a meddler, always a meddler. LeVar Ball
Right.
did not stop even after they got to the NBA. Okay, Lonzo. People forget the first 2 years that Lonzo was in NBA. LeVar was still there. He was still everywhere. He was still advocating for him. He was still going on all the shows. He was still doing. It's like he already made it, bro. Like once a meddler, always a meddler.
Like
Okay,
the only reason
especially
why
if
you
he
don't
knows
right, the
he
only
can.
reason why you don't see him meddling with Lamelo is because Lamelo is like no, like leave me. I like your thing is over there, my thing is over here. Like
Yeah, yeah. So here, real quick. But I think the Warriors thing is something that happens because LeBron recently has been bringing it back up. Oh yeah, because they asked him, "Well, is there any players that before you hang it up with that you would like to play with?" Oh yeah, he always brings up Steph. He always brings up Steph, right? You guys are looking at it the wrong way. I don't think he's looking at it and saying he wants to go to Steph. That's not what he's saying.
I'm saying, Steph, come here.
Yes, yes. Let's be honest. Since the move to Miami, which let's be honest, is probably the most haunting decision he's ever made in his entire life. Okay, or his entire career. Ever since that move, Mark, he has been all about everybody needs to come to me. Even him going to the Lakers. I'll show up first. You guys bring in AD. You guys bring in. He has been very very. He sent he sent away Andrew Wiggins before he got to Cleveland. Okay? Andrew Wiggins has to go. We've already seen the team with Kyrie fail and flounder. So Kyrie staying here is not an issue. Okay? But the rookie that y'all just drafted that is supposed to be the best things to slice bread. I want him out of here. You know what I'm saying? Bring in Kevin Love after I get here. Like he's been very like no, he's not going to. If he goes to the Warriors and wins, they're just going to be like, "See, you had to go over there." Like LeBron has learned from his mistake. Okay, he ain't doing that. Absolutely
Right.
not. I don't see it happening. So that's a crazy rumor. I see Rob said Bryce is going. He committed to Arizona. He could go to Phoenix. I that would be a more plausible situation. But once again, I still don't see him saying I'm leaving one son to go chase the other.
Right. All right, real quick, two things. The coach I was talking about was Brett Brown, not
Brett
Bruce
Brown.
Brown.
Okay.
And secondly, this real quick. Uh, Troy said Luca getting traded spooked and being in the plane. Um, I'm gonna give you a more plausible situation there. Embiid saw that there is absolutely no center on the Dallas Mavericks currently because there's no big man on that team currently because of the trade and Anthony Davis is hurt. So, hey, what better time to play when there's absolutely nothing anybody could do against me because I'm taller than them by at least 4 to 5 inches.
He said it's open season. They ain't got no Luca. Anthony Davis ain't there yet.
Right. It's like
That's it.
so that's what really happened is that Embiid being the soft person that he is, he saw a chance to pad his stats without any sort of competition to it, and he
Yeah,
took it.
that's funny. This is funny, man. But yeah,
But
Yeah, I
yeah.
thought that was funny.
But we'll see what ends up actually happening in these situations. Is there any other trade rumors or anything else that's going on in the NBA currently that we've missed?
um, I don't believe so. Cause what we talked about the KD shit. Because I almost forgot about KD. You talked about KD. We talked
Yeah.
about obviously the Luca trade. Um,
I just
Aaron Fox, Jimmy Butler. Yeah, I think we covered.
Is it bad that I don't care where Katie goes? Like, and when I say that, I mean that from a standpoint of I like it's true that KD is phenomenal as an individual. But as far as moving the needle of a team being competitive, he doesn't. He doesn't make a team more competitive or anything.
The,
Like for instance, him going to the Warriors were just in the championship. They should have won it. They
yeah,
should have
they
won
should
that
have.
championship.
They should have.
The only reason why like so him going to the Warriors, you went to a team that didn't need you absolutely whatsoever. They had zero need of you. You
Yeah.
were just a complimentary piece.
A very, very shiny and nice complimentary
Right.
piece. Yeah.
So I don't so when I look at KD and I'm like, Doug, I watched you move everywhere. And then the results are consistently the same. Except for the one team that just didn't need you at all.
Yeah.
Like, so tell me, how do you move the needle? Like you went to the Phoenix Suns, and that has not turned into anything whatsoever. Like
Yeah.
that is crazy.
Let me let me put it. Let me sum it up this way. This is the one thing. This is going to be to me. This is my knock on KD. If I ever had to put together a ranking for all time, my biggest knock on KD, which I think is a huge knock, Mark, your claim to history, right? And everybody kind of agrees. You're arguably the greatest scorer of all time. You're the only person that I've heard people say that about since Jordan has made it through the NBA, right? So it's just you and Jordan that they speak about. The fact that you're on that level and people are putting you above Jordan when they talk about being the greatest scorer, okay? For somebody who's the greatest scorer, Mark, you don't see 50-point games from him. You don't see 60-point games from him. And I'm just not talking about like a stats perspective. I'm talking about the only time that I seen him put the team on his back, basically taking advantage of his greatest skill, is for like the 2 or 3 game stretch with the Nets in that one playoff run. You know, everybody talks about the toe being over the line, the big ass foot, or whatever, right? Outside of that series, outside of that couple of games, Mark, have you ever seen KD just completely take over the game, put the team on his back? If for somebody who's considered to be the greatest scorer, the most unstoppable scorer in the history of NBA, that's an effort thing. That's a not wanting to be the man thing. And I think he wakes up in certain games. Yes, I've seen certain games where he's like, I'm just better than you. I'm gonna cook you, but it's more of a casual thing. The last time I seen him go, like even on a one-on-one perspective, Mark, the last time I seen him go at somebody one-on-one and really be competitive like that was against LeBron in the series with the Warriors versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, which to me it just wasn't fair. So I'm not going to give you credit for going at LeBron in that series when y'all was walking in there with the intentions of sweeping them. Okay, so 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 to me, the way I look at it is you've been getting away for a very long time without ever nobody like you've never really put the team on your back like that in that manner, and nobody's ever called you on it, and nobody's really put your feet to the fire about it. And I think that's where when you say, "Hey, man, I'm not really moved by the notion that KD's going to go somewhere. I don't think it matters where he goes." It just that's why when you even Jamal Murray, I seen Jamal Murray put the Nuggets on his back for a few of those games when they won the championship. We seen it. Why haven't
Right.
we seen that type of game from KD? It doesn't make sense to me, Mark. Because if you look at that Suns roster, I don't care how bad of a game Devin Booker is having. We have two of y'all because one of y'all should be able to go off for 50 if need be. One of y'all should be like, move out the way, I got it, and I don't see that. So that's my biggest knock. And when I say it's a big knock, that would be like me telling you, you know, um, this is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen in my life, and then also be like, I ain't never really seen him like make no plays at the end of the game to really win him a game. That would be crazy.
Right.
You're the most talented one, but you ain't never did this. So yeah, that's a problem, man. It's a big knock, and I feel like that's the part of you that's looking at it and just being like, Katie's gonna get traded again.
Yeah.
like Katie's going somewhere else again. Excuse me. Yeah, like I guess
Yeah. Like it hasn't resulted in anything yet. Like,
it means absolutely nothing. It hasn't meant nothing up until this point. So yeah,
right. So, but yeah, man, just my thoughts on the situation. But look, guys, you see the time, 10 o'clock. You know the hour. You know what it is, man. We turning into pumpkins around here. We gave you a lot of word salad tonight. We talked a lot, and so
Troy wins again.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. We gave you guys the things that you wanted, which was a nice conversation, and we want to continue that conversation. So, um, we will see you guys next week. Hopefully, um, it may be at a new day next week because our next episode may be on a Monday or it may be on a Wednesday, but it ain't. But due to scheduling and now we're no longer in football season, we will be possibly moving to a different day. Same time though, but different day.
Yeah,
So
we'll keep you posted.
we'll keep you guys posted. And excuse me, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah,
But yeah, we'll keep you guys posted and we'll let you know. But in the meantime, remember this one indictable fact that it's only entertainment. These things are called sports entertainment entities for a reason. They they could do whatever they want in the name of entertainment. They could create a three-peat in the name of entertainment. They can create a Luca trade for pennies in the name of entertainment. Like they could do what they want out here in the name of entertainment. So if you are a betting folk and you like to dabble in the gamble, do it responsibly and do it knowing that hey, at any time it could go against you simply for entertainment reasons. So whenever you're making your bets, just say to yourself, hey, what do they want to see happen? And should I bet accordingly?
yeah. Stay away from them Terry Roziers, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Hey, pay
Hey,
attention to that trial, man. You might want to keep abreast of the going ons with that.
hey, we may actually have to do another episode this week because there's few things that we didn't get to in this 2 hour episode. There's the Saints thing, there's the Terry Rozier thing. There is a few things that we did not get to. So maybe we do an episode on Thursday just to talk about those things because the happenings um are huge, and it's not really like it's not being talked about. Get Up ain't talking about it. Like none of your favorite sports shows is talking about the real happenings in sports. Go figure. So
Right.
so maybe we'll be the ones to talk about it, and we'll get at you later this week. But in the meantime, I know I be capping when I be saying that stuff all the time though. So we'll try to do better. But in the meantime, I'm going to let you guys go and say peace. Thank you for joining us. We'll
Yeah.
see you later. We'll see you on the next one. Remember, hit that like button, share to your friends, and tell them, hey man, it's this black dude. He dope. They both got bald heads and they dope. And they
Yeah.
be just talking shit about sports. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. With that being said, again, peace.
Peace.